Sawadee Cup. I think we are about to get started. If we're on Zoom, our friends are online. Great. Today is a special day of memorial for Thailand. So I wonder if we could start our day to remember King Rama IX. If you join me in a moment of silence, just to stand a few minutes and take a moment to remember a very special person for Thailand. Thank you. Khop khun krap. Thank you very much. I hope everyone had a lovely evening and woke up with new ideas. Today, we've been working on topics for so long, and to wake up with fresh ideas, fresh inspiration is a very good sign of a productive day. And I think today will be very important as we synthesize and bring these ideas together. So we wanted to start off the day with our friends from KEDI, Dr. Iyong Kim, our director of the Office of International Cooperation, to share some of her reflections from yesterday, and then I'll pass to our guest, Paulina Pannon, to share some opening remarks. Dr. Kim.
I didn't really prepare about the reflection part of my right? So when I selected this topic of micro-credentials for this seminar's topic, I expected an opportunity for engaging and enlightening experience for all of us, including myself, by sharing how different countries understand its concept and utilize the approach and for what objectives, especially in the Asian region. And yesterday, we had an excellent start with our keynote speaker presentation by Professor KEDI, with his great insights about the significance and potential of the micro-credentials within the region. And he set the tone of quality discussions for this seminar. I'm very glad and very appreciative of his presentation. And then we learned the relationship between micro-credentials and conventional curricula and practices of university, issues regarding quality assurance, and the framework for race. And I think that's very important. That's something that I keep in mind as a higher education researcher. Then we learned how micro-credential is practiced in the different higher education systems of Philippines, Malaysia, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, and Korea. And these different cases confirmed Professor Daras Sawang's, I hope I pronounced your last name properly, confirmed Professor Daras Sawang's explanation of that micro-credential is very context-specific. But at the same time, these cases also displayed stakeholders of higher education in the region are increasingly engaged in this approach to meet the challenges ahead of higher education institutions, as well as to provide more effective learning and effective and efficient learning experiences to learners. Throughout the discussions and dialogues we touched important points such as needs of developing different teaching and learning methodologies, reflecting industrial demands, promoting accountabilities of education providers for student learning outcomes, exploring positive relationship between micro-credentials and conventional higher education practices, quality assurance, and relevant frameworks. As yesterday's sessions guided us to different aspects of micro-credentials, I hope today's remaining session once again provide us interesting and useful new ideas. Thank you very much.
Outstanding. I think we're off to a good start. Thank you, Mrs. Kim. And I want to pass to another participant, Professor Paulina Pannon. She is the chair of the Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, truly a great leader for the field in open and distance learning. Professor Paulina, join us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Very good morning to all of us. I thank you, Dr. Kim, for the very wonderful reflection. And I believe I will add a little bit only because her reflection has been very thorough. From yesterday's sessions and interaction with colleagues and friends, I believe what we need is a working definition for all of us. Working definition which is generic enough so that it can facilitate differences in country practices and context, different contexts of practices, but detailed enough so that it can illustrates the parameter or indicators as well as standard, of course, regardless of practices. We need this parameter and indicator for quality assurance and for being at the same page talking about micro-credentials and also for transferring the credits, the value of micro-credential across our region. Thirdly, I think everybody has already got something in their hands. Of course, Malaysia is the most comprehensive one with guidelines, with indicators, with practices, etc. But some of us are still like behind. But why not? Since we are collaborating, we take stock with whatever existing quote unquote working systems, guidelines, etc., and then see whether it is adaptable to each of our country. And we work from there. It is not working from scratch. If it is working from scratch, you will get a more whiter hair than me. And then the other thing is that for us, the task is what do you call? A little bit heavier than than the rest of our colleagues in our country. Why? Because we are here in this policy dialogue seminar, and it is our duty and responsibility to come back to our country and then persuade or report to our people in the ministry, perhaps, and recommend to devise a policy and regulation for each of our country. And of course, UNESCO, ASEAN will be working with us, supporting us. Really? Yes? Okay. But we need each other to support each other. Okay. I believe the what do you call the meeting like this is not only this one, but there is other higher official meetings, ministerial meetings, etc. When we can throw the idea to them, so that we can get support and a lot of followers. The other thing is that, like Prof. Bandit yesterday said, that micro-credential is a name. The essence is not in the name. The essence is inside it. The objectives and the quality assurance and how micro-credential is being deployed by each of us in our country. Various uses of micro-credential. And that will determine the shape of micro-credentials and also coloring the regions practices of micro-credentials. And we are supposed to be happy with colorful practices because that means we are rich as a region. The other thing perhaps that we can work together is industrial partnership. We have only one coming from industry here, Anderson. Since yesterday, we heard about how industry perspectives on the micro-credentials, on the academic issues, etc. But we want to hear more because usually the industrial partnership is very, very weak among the academics. And that needs help. Who is going to help? I don't know whether ASEAN, whether UNESCO, whether Mr. Tan. Anybody can do it if you can come along and bring the industry partnership to all of us, and we work from there. Of course, this will has a lot of things to do with qualification and micro-credential certification later. We are nothing if the industry doesn't take care of our graduates. And industry usually look at the qualification only for wages, not for the ability or the capacity of one's work. But micro-credential is portraying actually the capacity, the ability, the competency of one's work. So different perspective needs to be bridged so that we can work together. I think that is all coming from me as a reflection. Hopefully today we can move forward and looking forward to collaborate together. Thank you very much.
That was brilliant. I mean, think about how we're going to spend our time today. I think that opening really gives us a list of priorities, and I'm very glad to pass it over to our chair and next keynote presenter, because I think we can take the working definitions of micro-credentials, what we talked about yesterday, from UNESCO's perspective, from Malaysia's perspectives and others. What does that mean in the context of the diverse region of Southeast Asia? How can we share these best practices? We have Ajahn Pornapit, we have Senior Righthead, who has the resources and convening power to bring this research together and synthesize and feed that into the senior higher education officials meeting. We can do that. What time is it? Let's just, how much time do we have together? Let's make the most of it. And with that, I'm thrilled to pass to Philip Masterson, our chair of the next session. Please welcome Philip from Senior Righthead.